The ultimately empty except for a single piece of furniture. Any apartment will do as long as the rent is low. I'm not particular about it. His 60-year-old cousin inherited a piece of real estate by a lake. So much for small talk. Let's get down to business. Lucy resented the aggressive salesman trying to make her sign the contract. They are aware of the fact that they currently are investing in stocks. Japan imports various raw materials and exports manufactured goods. In the course of its economic development, Japan has abandoned its traditional values. The world will now face an unprecedented crisis. In short, the purpose of regulation is to protect domestic industries. In order to keep its competitiveness in the world, Japan must undertake sweeping delegation in earnest. We cannot turn our backs on desperate people who are at risk. The parliament decided to provide the developing countries with financial aid. Some say the British monarchy should be abolished. What do you think? They sought shelter from the attack, but found no place to hide. There is a little protest that the two countries will make significant progress in disarmament. The negotiations are underway. Before long, they will enter a crucial phase. The slaves were anxious to alter their destinies. They arrested together with their privilege to their heart's content. The revelation in itself bore no fruit, after all. Bob cutting our conversation saying, I'm against it, but everybody ignored him. He skipped his own turn on purpose. He thought of someone being bullied, but he turned a blind eye. When Nigaya achieved the exam, I was suspended from school. As for Nick, he got away with it. They are hostile to teachers because they were jealous of his wealth and status. I hate him. He behaves as if he was somebody. In spite of our compliment, he frowned and turned away. He was so rude. He claimed that enormous property was at his disposal. The more stubborn you are, the more isolated you become. Don't beat around the bush. What am I supposed to do? Just wait and see. Time will tell. Please hand the assignment via email no later than 5 p.m. on June 10th. Joe is anything but diligent. That's why he flunked math again. His taste doesn't make sense. To begin with, his theme is obscure. His essay was concise and to the point. How you got to go deal with complicated problem? Leave it to me. It's a piece of cake. Nick, I want to look this over before I turn it in. Sorry, but I have my hands full right now. What about the meet deadline? I'll bet he'll get mad at you. You're someone who leaves nothing to be desired, apart from a terrible handwriting. You have to think about whether the premise is valid or not. Above all, scientific terms call for precise definitions. First of all, learn the formula by heart. To calculate the volume, multiply the length by the width by the depth. Tiny cracks are found in the bottom of the barrel. This chapter will focus on the concept of geometry. Phil is much more interested in academic subjects than in practical skills. Something has gone wrong with microscope. I need have it repaired. Let me see it. Maybe I can fix it. What is an instrument? For instance, a gauge such as a thermometer or barometer, but the minute particle are barely visible to the naked eye. Muscle tissues are consistent of a vast number of cells. This substance is mostly composed of hydrogen and oxygen. The exact temperature is 20.68 degrees Celsius. Naomi likes to offer a perfect figure. I wish I were thin like her. I envy her. You could go on a diet. I fell in love with Naomi at first sight. 3 months later, I took a chance to propose to her, but she turned me down. I met him by chance. He's gentle and smart. What's more, he's single. His nephew was brought to be modest and considerate. I introduced to folks, but they took to him at once. People should be judged not so much by how they look, as by who they are. It's not your title that counts, that's for sure, exclaimed Bob. As the self-made man put it, the one vision will make good in the end. Keep in mind, the youth is not eternal. I can't figure out why on earth everybody feels so much contempt for Bob. I can't help laughing at him, but he keeps making stupid mistakes. He'll be the last person learn his lesson. To make matters worse, he isn't even conscious of annoying us. Since I was in a hurry, I put my gloves on inside out by mistake. David is fat and clumsy. When he leaped over the shallow stream, he stumbled and twisted his ankle. I'm scared of heights. You are a coward. The Pashman seldom, if ever, expresses himself in public. He convinced me that all superstitions are rational. I trembled with fear at the thought of an injection. Since Bob is lazy at heart, he frequently neglects his duties. While Bob was at work, when Jane was observing silly soap operas, Bob likes cartoons, but doesn't like think much of them. As a matter of fact, they are boring. It occurs to me that he was holding something back because he wouldn't look me in the eye. When her patience gave out, he grabbed his collar and swore at him. I must admit, we quarrel every now and then, but generally, we are on good terms with each other. Do you mind if I stop by your house? No, not at all. Be my guest. Hold on, I'll be right back. Don't hang up. I can't put up. For one thing, my dad drops on me from time to time. While Jennifer was standing still, Bob was pacing back and forth along the sidewalk. Let's make up, Lisa. Stop taking me for granted. We are through good for this time. I mean it. Come on, don't get so emotional, Lisa. I didn't mean to hurt you. Let's talk it over. You betrayed me. Please forgive me. How can I make it up to you? I'll get even. You should confess your sins rather than conceal them. Keep your word, otherwise you'll end up losing face. Bob sticks his moral principles and believes that honesty pays off in the long run. Chap, You couldn't help it. I did my best. I know. Don't dwell on the past. You can start over. Jane, well, please do me a favor and give me a ride to Times Square. I wish I could, but I'm tied up right now. As usual, Mike tied up on time. He's very punctual. The other day, around the gasoline in the middle of a busy interstate. A truck was driving had me skidded, turned over, and scattered its load all over the road. He recalls that the collision had been avoided by sheer luck. In case of an emergency, get in touch with my agent right away. Jane, where we heading? I think we are lost. We went in the wrong direction. Damn, pull over. My last Ford broke down and obstructing the intersection. There are so many fine scratches on it and dents on its surface. It's no use polishing it. Hey, we were stuck in a traffic jam. Chill out, Joe. Let's take a shortcut. We'll get there in time. I got a flat tire. Can you give me a hand? Be glad to. The ambulance went over a control and came close running over a pedestrian. He contended that primitive life once existed on Mars. The crew disbelieved Vegetarian voyage into outer space. They conducted a series of experiments and zero gravity. Many astronomers assumed the universe will expand infinitely. The astronauts were greeted with spontaneous applause. Another set off with a view to preserving our endangered planet. The massive plan paralyzed the local transportation network. The equation divided the globe into two hemispheres. I think it's cruel to trap animals for fur coats. The organization plays the principal role of wildlife conservation. Many fragile species are on the verge of extinction. The prolonged drought did severe damage to the crops. Tropical rainforests are quickly disappearing on global scale. In part, it's due to acid rain. It is said that global warming is directly related to carbon dioxide emissions. The destruction of the ozone layer affects the environment. The committee called on all of the nations to work side by side to curb air pollution. A satellite was launched into orbit to monitor melting glaciers.